Hello everybody. I wanted to make a quick update video for the project Elfenhiem and where the systems stand with it right now. Um, and just going around looking at how the project looks and talking about it more in depth. So let's start off with the inventory system. The inventory system is pretty straightforward. It holds items for your character, whether this be wood or clothing. They all basically behave the same. Any item with a number in the bottom right means that's how many items of that specific type are in that slot. For example, this wood stack is actually 100 wood. And just to show this, you can actually click the item, and anything with more than one, you have a split option where you can come into here and split it however you want. And you can see these items now store the proper amount in each slot. Clothing, attire behaves a little bit different than that. And if you highlight and drag, you can actually drag clothing items onto your character or into one of these slots. And so you can just eventually build your character out to however you want it to look while still following the basic ideas of the inventory system. So all that's great. You can drag items off of your inventory to give them maybe to a friend. This project will be multiplayer, so you can say you want to give your friend like 20 wood or 18. You can just come into here, split it however you want, and then drop that into the world. You can also pick it back up, of course. And so that's kind of the basic idea of the inventory system. In the future, we will have weapons, and we're going to store the ammo count in the inventory slot as well. So there will sometimes be two numbers on these slots. Obviously, for items that only have, well, that don't have any number on the bottom right, that is going to mean there are one of those. For example, the drafter here and the upgrader. Alright, so we've already somewhat talked about the attire system. You can drag items on and off or onto the character itself. You get that little highlight menu. Fairly straightforward. I'm pretty sure this is how it's going to look closer to the final product of this project, but for now this is how it looks. Let's move on to the crafting system on the left side of the screen. It was similar to how it looked in previous videos. The big difference is this progress tab here. Basically what happens is you click a category, in this case tools, and if you have the required resources for a craftable, then it will display. If you don't, then it won't display. So that allows the user to go and research on its own, try to get new items in their inventory and see what that unlocks to be crafted. So in this case, if we craft an upgrader, if you look at the bottom right when I do it, you'll notice that this little menu comes up, and I'm actually out of wood, so I can't craft anymore. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and restart the project just to give my inventory the wood back. But if we go onto something like a drafter where it takes more time to craft, now you can see at the bottom right, but we also have this progress bar. And what does that progress bar do? Well, let's say we have a craftable item that takes 7 days real time, whether it be a big item that just has to take that long because it could be really powerful and dangerous. That'd be the real big reason, actually. But we want the user to be able to see all the things that are currently being crafted, as well as, let's say the user kills somebody and the person they killed, it has whatever they're wanting in their inventory. Well, they don't necessarily have to craft it anymore because they found it. And so what you can do is, when this is crafting, you can come over into your progress menu and press this X to cancel the craft. Right now you don't get any resources back when you cancel, but adding something like giving you back half the original cost would not be an issue there, so it's easily extendable. So there's the crafting inventory and attire system. I'm going to talk about the building system now. In our inventory we have 2 drafters, so it doesn't matter which one we pick. But when you equip this, your hands come out, and you can now position items along your other base, or you can just position it by itself. As well as this floating thing in the center, and that's actually the drafter. It's the object itself. Obviously that will change as the project develops, but I think we're going to want to keep that similar rotation feel, as this is a fantasy game. So let's just go ahead and build a base. And there is currently an issue with some of those pillars not working how they should, but the building system is for sure going to be one of the systems that is going to need continent or continuous maintenance, because there's going to be always new rules we'll have to add to it and take an account for different situations. So if you build your base, that's all good, like the foundation here. You can also right click to change what you actually want to build, whether it be a full wall like that or a wall with a single door option. That of course is up to the user. You can also hold down Z, I believe, and that will basically allow the user not to have to click each time. So it works a little better if I do this with foundation here. So I'm holding down Z, and you can kind of see how that reacts. So this is actually a bug, obviously. I'm going to restart the project. So that is the drafter. The only thing else that I have to talk about with that is the transportation. That's going to be basically moving from one level of the base to another, whether that be through stairs or an elevator. Right now all we have is stairs, and of course this is a placeholder model like many things in this video here. So you can obviously place those down, rotate it to whatever way you want, and all that works fine. So not too much there with that. The other part of the building system is the upgrader. Basically when you have this in your hand, you can see it has a green object now, just to represent that it is a different object. You can go up to items, and any item that has an upgrade possible will basically allow you to right click. Right now walls don't have any possible upgrades, same with transportation, stairs. The only upgradable item is the foundation. So if you right click, you can see this is placeholder icons, but this is actually a metal base here. And I just want to show you guys what happens. The metal base takes wood because that's logical, right? That's a joke. And if you right click, it says information log now. So you should be able to go back up to these wood items, pick everything back up, and if you have the upgrade in your hand, you can now craft these items, and it'll just let you know what you're crafting. That should be a metal base, and then the cost. So this would actually take 75 plus 50 wood out of your inventory, but that is just for debugging. So when you press upgrade, that obviously upgrades it to the metal version of the foundation. So that is the building system for the project. Trying to think right here what else, if I missed anything else. Maybe on the character system, running around, this is actually a sprint, but just the default move forward is a run naturally. You can go diagonal. You can sprint forward, but you cannot sprint diagonal, so it limits you in that way. Basically, if you want to sprint, you have to move your camera in the direction you want to sprint. That or backwards works. And all of this, of course, works with the clothing system enabled. We had to change how we handled the original character mesh because it was clipping. So basically what we did was we shrunk the character mesh, so clipping would not occur. Alright, this door reminds me of something I haven't talked about. So with the building system, say you build a wall, that's interesting. So like I was saying earlier, the building system is going to have a lot of stuff that has to be changed throughout time. One of them being fixing errors. So let's say we place a single door wall like that, and then we equip a door in our hand. Well, we can place that down, and when we place it, anything that is not a buildable but still placeable needs to be interactable. So basically, lamps or doors, in our case, will have to be allowed to be interacted with. So if we press E, that just toggles opening the door. And if we right click, this gives us the door options. These are just placeholder icons and they don't actually do anything right now. But what we could do in the future is maybe add a lock button or a create a pin button, something along those lines. So there is room to modify that in that sense. So the last thing I'm pretty sure I want to talk about here is the environment. This is a placeholder environment. We are currently looking for an environmental artist or modeler to help us with this because we don't have anybody to fill that. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you post in the comments or something. Just try to get Three Tail Studios' attention on that. I believe this is everything as far as the kind of in-depth explanation of how everything stands with the project right now. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe. If you like the content, I'll make sure to post more videos like this. So thanks again.